if I think back to some of the kind of traditional business planning that I did when I was first starting out, a lot of that is really driven to you addressing some of, almost like some of the areas where you're not so good at. So I think your attention can be, like, accidentally, by the sounds of it, pulled onto the things that you're going to have to work at in order to be able to cover those bases. But what you just said there, which I loved, was this idea, well, first of all, know your profile and have a strategy that works for that profile. And that will help you to generate enough revenue for you to be able to bring in or outsource the other areas that aren't. So what you're basically saying is play to your strengths.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's the exact opposite that we're taught in this country. I mean, from being in school, we said, oh, what, you only got a B, Laura? That means you've got to work extra hard at history. And it's like, why make yourself suffer? And exactly the same with business planning. Traditionally, business planning is, try and improve your skills across the board, when actually the people who are successful at it are the ones that bring in the skill that they need. I mean, you've heard about it was Ford, wasn't it, where he'd just ring a bell every time he needed something answering, and either his lawyer would come running or his production manager would come running, and he'd answer the question, and that's how he ran a business. And we kind of quote these and we know about these stories, but we don't actually do it ourselves, which seems kind of crazy.
It's interesting you saying that, because I actually this week was talking to somebody about the whole concept of the 360-degree feedback, the appraisals that people tend to have, and where they go out and they ask all their peers and supervisors and perhaps people that are working for them, like, for their opinions about how they perform against certain competencies. And then they get the feedback back. And what I've seen every time is they get the feedback that says they're really good at these kind of skills and that these other areas they need to work on. And what immediately happens is they work on those, and then when they do the follow-up appraisal, the follow-up 360, is they find that all their scores have dropped.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a similar thing, isn't it? It's like if you're not playing to your strengths, then you're not going to be able to generate the revenue to actually expand the business in a way that allows you to build a team.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing to consider is that if you're going up against someone who is playing to their strengths, so say, for instance, two stars went head to head. Yeah, this doesn't happen, but it illustrates the point. Yeah, if one star is playing to their strengths and really, focusing their skills and their attention and their learning on being a star and learning the media strategies and learning how to speak and how to sell from the platform and all that kind of thing, while the other one is still trying to do all the other things in the business that aren't in their flow, who do you think is going to have the competitive edge?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense, yeah. So, the person who's actually focusing on what they're good at is more likely to be successful.
Yeah. And you can't compete at things that aren't your natural strength. I mean, I'll use an example from my own past. I'm actually a creator star profile myself, and I used to trade the stock market, and I always did okay. I was always averaging like 3% per month, which is reasonable. And but I used to find it tedious. And I used to have to get up and trade like 4 times a week, and 4 turned into 3 and 3 turned into 2, and then I'd miss the odd week, and it would just drag on, and I'd feel guilty about it, and I'd beat myself up, and I didn't want to do it, and yet I did want to do it because 3% isn't to be sniffed at. And I remember having a conversation with someone about this, and he's saying, well, actually, you're a star creator profile. You don't want to be trading. It's the exact opposite to where your strength is. So why are you doing it? I said, well, I'm kind of good at it. And he goes, yeah, but you're never going to master it. It doesn't matter how good you think you are or how intelligent you might be, or how hard you work. This is the other one. A lot of people say, oh, well, I'll just work harder at it. It doesn't matter. None of that matters if you're going against your natural strengths and your personality type.